Visiting Nurse Association Health and Hospice. Founded in 1912, it is the largest nonprofit, volunteer-driven, in-home health, private care, hospice, and community wellness organization in New Jersey. One of the VNA's largest fundraisers is the StatelyHomes by the Sea Designer Show House. Debuting in 2007, the show house quickly gained popularity, attracting more than 13,000 attendees to each home and is a coveted showcase for those in the design world. This year's show house was at the Hartshorn Mansion in Little Silver, New Jersey. Here, designers from all over the region, and even some as far as California, were able to showcase their talent and exhibit their design style. Among them, Brookdale Community College's own design students.
I'm Celeste Chericello, and I'm the Design Department Chair at Brookdale Community College. I'm also an Associate Professor in the Interior Design program, and that's how I began the involvement with the show house. In 2007, the Visiting Nurses Association started the StatelyHomes by the Sea show house, and Brookdale approached the VNA, and they were so good to Brookdale, and they started to give the Brookdale interior design students a space in the show house. And we started out with a closet, and as you'll see today, that we actually have rooms now, and the students earn their reputation, and they work very hard at it, and it really has been a great opportunity for the students.
This year, Brookdale was given the designer's sales office as their space in the show house. The design was headed by project manager, Brookdale design student Jacqueline Curry-Taylor.
I'm Jackie Curry-Taylor. I'm in my final semester at Brookdale, due to graduate from their interior design program in a couple of weeks' time. Celeste, who's one of my professors at college, asked me if I would like to take on the project manager role. I'm president of the American Society of Interior Designers student chapter, so she knows I'm familiar with most of the students, and I can take on a role where you need to be in charge of a project. So that's really how I became to be the project manager, and then later the concept design as well was mine.
I do have to have one person that is in charge, because the show house committee cannot be calling so many people at Brookdale. I need one person that's their contact person, and I really feel the students need to get that experience. So I do have a project manager that is in control of the job. And so the way that I selected, I select a student that I know is going to take on that responsibility, is not going to drop the ball, and is going to be capable of completing it through completion. I mean, it's tough. They're in school. They have classes now. They have exams. They have everything, and they have this. So it's not an easy job to take on.
I guess this is really like being in the real world. There's deadlines to meet. There's a budget. When you're in school, projects don't tend to have budgets, and there's no real sort of severe deadlines, but here you need to get things done by a certain date. You have to follow the protocol of the chair, the committee for the show house, and so it was very different than my first experience, because I was really just helping out. Being actually in charge and bringing everything together and getting all the pieces here for the opening is it has a little bit of pressure, as well as school too. Can be quite difficult. I've worked before. I've had a professional job, so I'm kind of used to working in teams of all various disciplines, and my role as president at school has helped me too, because I do tend to know most of the students, and I'm very engaged with a lot of them. Those that want to help do help. A lot of people offer help initially, and then when it comes to the time, that tends to peter out a little bit, but I think that's just kind of normal.
What's difficult is the amount of money that it costs, but we really design on a budget here. We've pretty much worked with a $1,500 budget. The school helps us with that. And then also the students approach local vendors and industry partners that will loan some items to the students. So some things in the show room goes back to the store, or the industry partner, and that's how we're able to get donations or volunteer work, things of that nature. The students also do an awful lot themselves. When there's any kind of sanding, painting, preparing, the students do all that work, so we save money there. It's mainly on the installation of carpet, wall covering, molding, things of that nature, and that's how we're able to do it.
I guess I'm quite attracted to that 1920s period in the US. It was a very wealthy time. Harold Hartshorne, that built the mansion, built it in brick, Tudor style. And he was also a big influence in figure skating. He would have house guests at weekend and they would skate either on the Shrewsbury River, or he then later installed this skating pond at the front of the mansion. And so it was kind of a nod to that era, and so the Winter's Tale concept was designed, and I came up with this monochromatic. Everything's white, different textures though. We have mohair, fur, and so on. And then the feature wall behind me, this was skate marks on ice, and it really just came from photographing an ice rink where there had been skate marks. And then we got Speed Pro Imaging in Tinton Falls. We were really lucky. The guy there wanted to work with us, and he created, it's actually wallpaper, it's in 6 strips, and so we had to have a professional wall hanging guy to come in to install it for us. But this became the focal point, and the pop of orange really is a nod to a skater on ice, that pop of colour, the orange chevron, creating that dynamic within the room.
This experience I can't give them in the classroom. This is an actual job, and they have to treat it like an actual job. So a student may be late on a paper or late on a project, but you can't be late here. There's no excuses. You have to complete this job. This is a major commitment, and it's a major responsibility. So it's not easy, but the connections and the networking that the students get from designing the show house, this house is filled with designers, that are working, and that's one area. They're able to put it on their resume. Working as a design team to create this space is a huge aspect. It's a job. It's an actual job that they can put on their resume.
The show house offers Brookdale students an experience like no other. And once they've graduated, they are able to successfully go on to wonderful careers. Like Holly Volpe, owner of Set the Stage. A former Brookdale design student, Holly has come back to the show house as an independent designer.
When I first saw the room, I opened the door and I saw light blue cinder blocks and no windows. Well, there was a window missing on one side. And I turned around, I looked at the house, and I thought, my God, this reminds me of a Cinderella story where you have this big, beautiful mansion, and tucked away, lost somewhere in the corner is, Cinderella in the forgotten space. So when I first saw it, I thought, God, the house is so beautiful, and this room, what could I do with it to change it? So that was my inspiration, and my concept was basically taking the room from cinder blocks to a desirable space, as Cinderella was to the prince. In the end, she was this beautiful thing that just came out of nothing. So that was where the inspiration came. And I wanted to, at the same time, keep within the elements of the house. And I started out with the slate flooring and used that as pretty much the backdrop for everything else that I did in there. And the space is only 13 by 9 feet. So to me, it's almost the size of a master bathroom. So with it being a pool house, you needed to have the elements, obviously, of what would be in a bathroom, a changing area, shower, the bathroom facilities. So I needed to incorporate that all into the space and make it cozy at the same time. And when you have cinder blocks, there's nothing cozy about that. So that was the main challenge and the inspiration behind the theme of what the room is. And then with staying with the natural elements, there's stone in there, there's sisal, there's more tile that's in slate. I've got glass, just kind of keeping with the elements of the outside. To me, it's a very soothing space because of that. So it's taking something that's outside that could, be considered very kind of cold and dreary and turning it into something that's very soothing and comforting and calming to whether it be a male or a female. You know, I can honestly say for me, I was fortunate enough to live close by Brookdale, and that Brookdale offers an associate program in the interior design field. And that was very convenient for me because I already had a degree and I wasn't looking to go back to school for another 4 or 5 years, and I didn't want to commute anywhere. Again, you know, with it being a second career and having children and, you know, other things in life that go on, it made it very, very appealing for me, and just it worked out perfectly.
It's really a great thing, and especially to see from 2007 to 2013, each show house just gets better.
This experience has been wonderful because it gives me that sort of hands-on experience, being really out in the field and meeting deadlines and working to a budget. I really would rather work in commercial hospitality space. That's my main sort of area that I want to work in. But I've had some fun, and I've got to know so many designers working on this project. You know, when you're in every weekend and they're working in their room, you get to chat to one another. So it's been a really great networking experience too.
What I love to see is how proud the students are of themselves, because they can't believe that they've created this. And in school, we get to do things on paper, we get to do things through the computer. Sure, they can see things visually, that way, but to actually walk into their space, that's just a feeling they can't get at school. So we're so happy to give it to them. And the Visiting Nurses Association did that for us, and we are really grateful for that.
Brookdale Design Department offers aspiring designers and associates an applied science degree in interior design. For more information on Brookdale's design department, please contact Celeste Chircello at cchircello@brookdalecc.edu.